Well, hello everybody. As you know, I haven't given an update on the garden lately, so I thought I'd come out here and give a quick update. Haven't had too much done since the last time I gave an update. We did rework the tower, green stalk tower. I wanted to give you an update on what's growing and how everything's doing. First of all, I've got yellow squash coming up there. And I've got greens growing there. I haven't got it all planted yet. It's like I got one zucchini. No, that's a yellow squash too. So I got yellow squash planted in both of these. My rosebush cuttings seem like they're still alive. They're trying to put out some growth, as you can see. So we'll see what happens with that. I've got to get out here and mow. But as you can see, that cutting is still pretty and green, and it's trying to put out it is definitely trying to put out new leaves. Get that back down to normal. That one is too. And that one. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they will root and maybe they'll survive. Maybe if they'll root there, you know that they'll do all right and survive. And there's that one. I don't see any new growth on that one yet. So we'll see. I watered them yesterday. But, doesn't take long for the water to disappear. That looks like new growth right there. So we'll see. And my mums are coming right on up. That's the only pot of mums that survived from last fall. But I do have bluebonnets. Like I said, I got bluebonnets right down in there coming up. I've got them over here. And hopefully they'll spread throughout the yard. Crepe myrtles have not come out yet. I don't know if it's just too dry on them, too early, or what. Now here and get my mail. See what kind of bills I got. But see, they're late. They don't put out their leaves till closer to summer. I've got seeds planted in here. I've not watered them. It's supposed to rain Thursday. So I'm just going to wait till it rains, hopefully. Because, I did plant cucumbers, so they'll come up along these trees. So we'll see what happens. But I got a bunch of wildflowers in here. And I think this year I'm just going to leave them. See what happens. Rose bushes are looking good. And I've got moonflowers, and it looks like zinnias coming up here. I got zucchini coming up here. You see that one pushing its way out of the dirt. And I got, looks like marigolds or something else growing there too. Perpetual spinach coming up there, and here, and over here. There's that rose cutting, and it looks like it's putting out leaves, because this one stays wetter than the other ones. They're closer, so I keep it watered more. And there's my hollyhocks. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to leave this pot. I may leave it right here for right now because it's got plenty of walkway to get by it. So we'll see. And that rose bush is looking good. Got wildflowers coming up all around here. And yeah, I still got to do something with this aloe vera. It's outgrown its pot, definitely. And there's my rutabaga. And I may have to pull up some of that and thin it out. I've got red Russian kale coming up here. I got Chinese cabbage coming up here. Bok choy. And I've got romaine lettuce right there. And it'll all need to be thinned out pretty soon. My mint's coming up. That's perpetual spinach or Swiss chard. Swiss chard, Swiss chard. My rose bushes, and look at those zinnias coming up. I've got to get those out of there and move them somewhere else. And my greens. Those are all the greens that survived from last year. They made it through the whole winter. And there, that's one that made it all winter long. And I've got a zucchini coming up there with it. And I may have crowded that out, I don't know. And I got to get something planted here. Some of it is coming back up. I mean, this potful survived. Got moonflowers coming up there. But I got to get these other pots planted. And I've got seeds. I just don't know if I want to put the seeds out here or wait and put the seeds in the greenhouse and get them started there. And see, these are still green. These rose cuttings. They haven't put out leaves yet. But there's that rose bush we rooted last year. Remember, it's the only one of the 6 that made it. But it looks good. And there's the other cutting there. And I got one over here on this side. And it's still green, so maybe it's trying to root. My rose bush. And I got the rose bush over there. I was out here yesterday trying to get some of the wildflowers out of my bearded iris because they were crowded them out. And a rose bush too. See, that rose bush is still looking good even though I cut it down to the ground. It's coming all back out. Let me put my mail down here a minute. And my camera. My hair is getting in my face. So I'm going to see if I can do a balancing act with this camera just a second. Get my hair pulled back because it's getting in my eyes. I can't see what I'm doing. Can't see where I'm going. But I've only got half the garden planted, not even half of it. But I've got to get more dirt moved. I got to amend. Oh, I can't get my hair up. Y'all, I'm sorry. Should have done this before I came out here. Finally. But there's all the seeds in the, and I think these are those, golden Detroit beets that are coming up in here. I've never planted them before, so I'm anxious to see how they grow. And there's my greens that all survived through the winter. They're starting to grow really pretty. My clematis is starting to grow, coming back from the roots. Zucchini's not sprouted right there yet, in that big pot. And all these little pots I have not got planted yet. I just got some dirt put in them. But there's my greens in my buckets here. That's all greens that survived through the winter. My walking onions. And I went ahead and planted okra in this little blue swimming pool. So I should have 5 or 6 okra plants coming up in there. And I'm not sure what that is because I don't remember planting anything in there. I think it was seeds left from the melons from last year that have come up. And I'm going to leave them. I mean, if they want to grow in there, I'll let them grow. And there's something come up from down there. And if that's one of those wildflowers, I'll just pull it out. But one of these looks like a melon. That one over there under the edge, that looks like a melon. I'm not sure what the other is, so I may end up pulling that out. But there's some more of the greens that survived. And they're just about, getting a kickoff start since I added the dirt. And this is parsnips. They've not come up yet. So I don't know when they'll be up. And look at my potatoes. Aren't those potatoes looking good, those plants? They sure look healthy, don't they? Potatoes. I hope they really produce some potatoes this year. Maybe getting them planted early. They will, but there's some more. And there's some of my onions with my greens. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. It's really put on some growth since the weather started warming up just a tiny bit. My garlic. More potatoes. My other pot of potatoes. And it looks like I've got I don't know if that's a zinnia or a sunflower. It might be zinnias coming up in there voluntarily. Got one here too. And there's my banana tree. There's the one we put in the big pot. I've got to get another pot, a big one, to put that one in. I don't have another big black pot. And I'm building more compost there. And there's another tub of potatoes. And it's also got kohlrabi growing there. So I'm going to have to pull the kohlrabi out, I think, and move it somewhere else as soon as I get some more totes fixed. And there's greens. All of that was left from last year. And I got basil planted, some basil seed in that little pot. Onions and garlic. And the onions and the garlic's not doing too good over here for some reason. I mean, it's growing, but not all of it. And there's onions, my walking onions. I think that's what that is. And I think I've got marigolds or something planted in that one, that bucket. I forgot to mark it. I put a stake in it to show that I planted something there, but then I didn't mark it. And there's yellow squash in that big one. It's not come up yet. More greens. And this is, let me see what I marked it as. Oh, that's perpetual spinach. I didn't know I put perpetual spinach in that little pot, but I guess I did. Maybe this is not staying wet enough to germinate the seed. Put a little bit of compost tea on it. Maybe that'll help. And I've got the red tomato for slicing right there. I cut a slice off of that red tomato that I bought, and I buried it in this right here. I wanted to see how fast that comes up versus the tomato seed that I planted here. These are the gold tomatoes, the yellow ones, but they've not come up yet. This one is too, whenever it comes up. And this one. And then I've got them here too. Something's popped up right there. I don't know if it's a tomato or what it is, but I guess we'll find out. The thing of it is keeping them moist when you plant them out like this until the seeds germinate. And that's yellow beets right there. And I planted a yellow squash, basil there, basil here, a yellow squash over there. And of course I've got my clematis coming up here. There's a few sprigs popped up out of the ground. My rose bush, see how those are looking good, I think. They had me worried there for a while, but it's looking good now. And the one next to it. My peppermint, my garlic chives. And you see how I use my I use my gas tank as a rug holder. I wash my rugs outside and I throw them over there to dry. Look at that big. That is a big rose bush right there. And then I've got my garlic chives. I got some onions right there. And those lasted all winter. Those onions did. I put seed in there. And see, I started filling these pots up. Haven't planted in them yet. I haven't planted in the green stalk, other than what's there already. Let's check on my stuff coming up in the greenhouse here. Ooh, it's hot in here. I'm glad I put that vent up there. But I do have some sweet dumpling squash coming up right there. See that one? That one's popped up. I don't know about those rose bushes. They don't look too good. And these are sweet red macaroni peppers. And I don't know how long it's going to take for them to come up, to germinate, because they've not come up yet. And this is a hillbilly tomato. Oh, look, I got one right there coming up. I got one right there. I don't know if you can see that little piece. I got one coming up here. And I got one over here. And I've got gold medal tomatoes coming up. A couple of them in that pot, but they're coming up in all of them. I've got, oh, I can't see the marker. Watermelon. I got watermelon plants coming up, y'all. So I've got to get a place fixed to put them. My seeds have not germinated and come up here yet. I think this is a flower. Let me see what I did put in there. Well, I put a marker, but I didn't write what it was. And this is a Shasta daisy. And they are coming up. I don't know if you can see that, but they are coming up. There's a little sprout right there. And there's a couple back here. That's a mashed potato squash. It's not come up yet. And this is a Shasta daisy, but it's not germinated and come up. That's a hillbilly tomato, but it's not come up either. And these are black diamond watermelons, but they've not come up yet. So that's where we stand in the greenhouse, y'all. Some things have come up, some haven't. That's a hillbilly tomato, but it's not come up yet. And I want to get more seeds out. I just have not done that yet. But there's that. And look at here, I've got all kind of peas coming up. Peas that I planted here a while back. And they didn't come up. But look at there, they're coming up now. I've got some coming up in here. Back there. Got them coming up in here. And I haven't put the dirt in here yet. Peas coming up here. I got to get dirt put in here, and I've got to put more seeds in some of it. Whew. Because I'm not sure which peas are coming up. But I do need to get dirt put in there. But as you remember, I didn't get any of these pots redone yet. But I do have a mint, peppermint, and I have a pot of walking onions. I got to get my cinder blocks done because I'm going to plant in there. And look at all the wildflowers coming up outside the blocks. They're pretty, aren't they? But they're growing in the wrong place. And there's my pot of potatoes here. And here is my raspberry. It's starting to look good. Another pot of potatoes. Swiss garlic chives. And it doesn't look like any of my tree collards made it except this one that's down in here with my garlic chives. There's one right there. If it'll come on up and make it. I need to get dirt in there is what I need to do. I need to dig that out, raise it up a little bit, and put more garden soil in there. And I may do that today, I'm not sure. But see, I don't have any of these planted yet. I got to rework them first. Don't have these planted because they all have to be reworked. I do have my walking onions. And it won't be long before they'll be walking. And I got to come out here and I've got a tomato plant or something right there. Look at that. That's a tomato plant, I believe. A voluntary tomato plant. And there's voluntary, I don't know if it's a zinnia or what that is, but it's in a pot where I had a pepper. I had a pepper plant in there. Oh, and look at my asparagus. I let it get away with me. Look at that. I like to come out here and just eat it right off of the stalk. I mean, that's some good stuff right there. Mmm. I did not mean to let it get that tall. So I got to come out here with something to cut it off. I'm sorry, I'm messing the camera up. But you can eat it even when it gets this tall, as long as it pops off real easy. And see, that one didn't pop off too easy. But I do need to cut these two off. I thought I could break them off, but they're not breaking off. But it looks like there was only one or maybe two crowns that survived. But they'll spread. My blueberry plant did not make it. I'm not planting any more blueberry plants. Got to come out here and get something planted here. But I got to get more dirt. That's the main thing right now, is getting more dirt put in these pots. Reworking the dirt. You see, that's full of wood chips. So I got to get some of the wood chips out. And put more dirt in there. I've got all these wildflowers that come over in here. The seeds just blow everywhere. But yeah, I gotta get some of these wood chips out because they're pretty deep in wood chips. And put more dirt in there. Like here, I got don't know how I'm gonna get that out. But I got a big clump of grass right there. There. In the corner. I got some here. So you got to keep that stuff out. And I didn't plan on pulling up grass and flowers out here. Sorry about that, y'all. And there's my walking onions here. That's the very first pot that I ever planted of walking onions is right there. And look how pretty they are. And I've pulled out some of those over the years because I've had this pot there for several years. So if I want an onion and I want to pull the whole plant up, I'll come to this pot because it's the oldest onions. They're the biggest. Hi. Okay, thanks. You too. I just got a delivery. And see, I've never even got out here and trimmed this up, and it needs to be trimmed. All this dead part needs to come off. Look at that. And that'll be great to put in that bucket over there for compost. I always have wildflowers come up where I don't want them. You throw the seed out where you want them to grow, and the wind blows the seed everywhere but where you want it. So you'll have wildflowers, but not necessarily where you plant them. Look at that. It's not supposed to even be growing there. And see, I don't have anything planted in these yet. And I'll need to get something in there. It's where my peppers were last year. Those are surviving. That's Swiss chard. Swiss chard there. I don't have anything planted here yet. But I think I got marigolds in this little pot. I got Swiss chard here up on the porch. I've got walking onion started there. Looks like they sent me several things. Sounds like seeds. Huh. Oh well. I'll pick those up when I come back. But look at there at my mandevilla. It's growing on up to the top of the trellis. It's gotten pretty tall. I just hope it'll bloom this year. My peppermint. I've got marigolds planted there. And I don't know if I don't want to pull those up because I don't know if the roots are alive or if they're going to come back out. Those were my hollyhocks. They got so big last year, but they never bloomed. They finally died down the last few freezes we had. But they're supposed to come back every year. But I don't see any signs of those coming back yet. There's my clematis here. See how I told you the vine looks dead? And it's getting ready to bloom too. But it puts out new growth from the old dead vine. Where it looks like a dead vine. Oh, I got to get out here and mow. This yard is terrible. See, that looked like an old dead vine, but look at what's come out from it. Look at all that new growth. And there's a flower bud right there. See that little flower bud? It's going to be a flower. I think I got a few up here. Yep, there's one there. Can't reach it. Right there. There's one in there. So it won't be long before they'll be blooming. They'll have flowers. And look at those. They're looking pretty. I just hope they can bloom and we don't get another freeze on them before they bloom. Because every year they might put out 1 or 2 flowers, and the minute it opens, it freezes and it will kill the flower. And I'm hoping that's not going to happen this year. Because those are some that my dad gave me years ago. And I brought them to Texas and planted them. And I finally decided to put them back here. But I got daylilies coming up there, see? And it'll be full of them by the time they all come up. And I got daylilies, a lot of different type of Easter plants here. That at the end will have a purple flower. And this little rose bush here, I don't know. I'm trying to keep it watered or keep the ground damp. But the cutting's still pretty green, so maybe it'll root. My mums are coming up around my little man. And there's the white or the yellow rose of Texas bush. More mums. Daylilies are coming up. Gladiolas are coming up. And I don't want this wild baby's breath. I think it's pretty, but it has these little fuzzy stickers on it. And you get near it, and you get those things all over your clothes, especially your socks, and then you can't get it off. And there was the one rose bush, or the second rose bush that survived from last year. It's looking good this year so far. So maybe I'll have 3 rose bushes, one at the end, the yellow rose of Texas, and then this one, hopefully. But I wanted to give you an update out here too, because I got daylilies coming up. That's what those are, daylilies. I've got gladiolas, mums. I've got all kind of flower bulbs out here. And I'm hoping when it rains Thursday, if they don't change the forecast, all of those bulbs will come up. Or that's what I'm hoping. And there's a little buddy, little buddy on his motorcycle with his little mouse up front. But all these are daylilies. There's yellow ones. They're kind of a burnt orange color, some of them. I had planted tulips, all kind of stuff out here. But if we get some good rain coming up, maybe they'll all come up. I hate walking in this because I don't know if I'm walking on a... don't know if I'm walking on a tulip or the flower bulb that's trying to come up. But you know me, I see something that needs to be pulled out, like that baby's breath, and I'm going to pull it out. You see, that's daylilies. Gladiolas coming up there, daylilies. Daylilies, gladiolas. That's what those green straight stalks are, gladiola plants. Daylilies over there behind it. Yeah, I'm going to wait until it rains Thursday and see what happens. And then I'll probably start watering this rock garden, since I can use my water hose this year. But yeah, I've got eggplant, I've got bell pepper or hot peppers, I've got zinnias, I've got marigolds, all kind of stuff planted here in seed. I'm just hoping it comes up. And see, there's another baby's breath. They're beautiful plants, but I don't like those fuzzy things on there. They get everywhere. You ever get them on your socks, you just about have to throw your socks away because you can't get them off. Let me go back around and see, all of this is wildflowers. They're little, but it's wildflowers. Let me go back around here and, oops, I moved too fast, and get my mail. I don't know if I left this door open or not. Little buddy come in and got his breakfast, and then he's gone. But yeah, I got to mow. Look at this. Look at all that. I mean, granted, most of it is wildflowers and crap, but it still needs to be mowed. I mean, look at it. I mean, I love the little yellow flowers, but... And about 100, like 95% of all that is some type of wildflower. Because I had put tons and tons of wildflower seed in the yard years ago. And that comes up all over the yard. It's not grass, it's wildflowers. But I got all those pots to plant. So see, this whole half of the yard, from the greenhouse, back here, and all up here needs to be planted. But I got to rework the pots first, and it's going to take time. So, just wanted to show y'all that. I mean, isn't that a pretty flower right there? Just a wildflower.